He got it. Oh my God. I was called out last week for cheating somebody on the size of their jig heads. Good to go. That's a 1/4 ounce jig head. 3/16 ounce Bugs Bonefish jig head. 0.15. It's a little lighter. Howdy from Texas. This is Heath Hipple with Bugs Fishing. I was called out last week for cheating somebody on the size of their jig heads. And so I want to explain to you something about jig heads and come clean and tell you that I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating. A customer ordered bonefish jig heads. Ordered 1/4, 3/16, and 1/8. And told me, hey, these don't match up with the size that you market them as. And he was very upset. When you make a new jig head, you estimate the amount of lead you estimate the size and the amount of lead. It's hand carved, and so it's an inexact science. And so there are variations. There's also variations when you make a mold, because the mold sometimes comes out a little bit lighter unintentionally. There was no bad intent with these jig heads. The guy that was making the molds, did the best that he could. I have nothing to hide, and so I want to tell you exactly what the bonefish jig heads weigh. I've got a scale, and I've got the list of the scale is going to come out in decimal points, and I have a list here, so I'll tell you exactly what they weigh. So this is the 1/4 ounce bonefish jig head. When I put it on the scale, it comes out 0.28. So 0.28 is a little bit heavier than a 1/4 ounce. Good to go. That's a 1/4 ounce jig head. 3/16 ounce Bugs Bonefish jig head. 0.15. It's a little lighter. In fact, it's closer to, it's between us. Anyway, it's a little light. It was unintentional, but that's just how it came out. So the 3/16 ounce bonefish jig head, it's a little light. It comes out at 0.15. Okay. 1/8 ounce. The 1/8 ounce Bugs Bonefish jig head comes out 0.10, a 1/10 of an ounce. It's also a little bit light. Like I said, this is unintentional, but I have nothing to hide. And so the Bugs 1/8 ounce bonefish jig head is actually a 10. It's a little bit light. 1/16 ounce Bugs Bonefish jig head. 0.07. It's actually a little bit heavy. It's a little bit heavier than a 1/16 of an ounce. It's an inexact science when you're making and molding a new jig head. So there was no bad intent on our part. The good news is these bonefish jigs work really, really well to catch bonefish, permit, redfish, anything you'll chase in shallow saltwater flats. But I had a customer really disappointed that they didn't come out exactly like I advertised, and so I apologize because they were mislabeled, but there was no bad intent on our part. And just for fun, we're gonna weigh also the Bugs redfish jig heads. All the cards are on the table. So this is an 1/8 ounce Bugs redfish jig head. 0.18. It's heavy. It's more like a 1/6. So the Bugs 1/8 ounce redfish jig head is a little bit heavy. The Bugs 1/4 ounce redfish jig head. 0.25. Look at that. Right on the money. Right on the nose. 0.25. Lastly, the 3/8 ounce Bugs redfish jig head. 0.36, just a little bit light. And so some of the weights of these jig heads, as advertised, are a little bit off. And I apologize for that. There's no bad intent. That's just how they came out. But I want you to know the truth, and I don't want you to be disappointed like the fellow was that I talked to last week. And so there it is. Catch you later.
Nice cast. Jig, jig, jig. Try him. He's got it. He got it.
Oh my God!
Under the boat. Under the boat. Right in front of the boat. Rex, that fish is not happy with us. You ready? Yeah, keep my rod up. Look at this guy. That's a big fish, dude.
I'll grab you by the tail.
Oh yeah. You stay over here, okay? I'm gonna visit you next time.